to be here this evening, and for all God's blessings that He bestowed upon us. I could have kept my seat and let one of the other brothers come, but the loss fell my way, Brother Jerry. So many things that come up on you in life, and I take my time, but this past week, and every night, just about, was at a funeral somewhere, in a funeral home, or what have you. But death is real.
Yeah.
It's on every hand. Every day, every hour, it just seems like anymore. And the funeral home is getting so many, they got to schedule days out in advance, Brother Jerry, to be able to take care of them all. But the greatest thing, and being in the funerals I was in, and what really made it good was, Patsy's aunt, Sister Deborah, had passed away. But the greatest part of it all, Brother Jerry, she left a witness behind.
Amen.
She'd been buried. And she believed in Jesus, and she had him on her bond, and to me, it's like Brother Jerry was preaching there, and trying to tell you that believe, faith believing, and that's what it's all about. And so many troubles and heartaches come upon us in life, and without the Lord, He'll make a way. It seems like when there's no way. And this morning I got up, I went to bed last night, I got up this morning, I had a thought on my mind, and I was trying to tell Patsy, I was trying to think of the words in it, and I was sitting there trying to look through my Bible, and trying to find out where it was at. But the thing I thought about is all those prophets back in time, Brother Jerry, Job, all the things that he went through, losing all of his children, all of his wealth, and even all the sickness that come up on him. He still trusted in God. God made a way for him. And trying to lead up to what I was trying to look for this morning, and even the 3 Hebrew children, even while they went through, and standing there before the old king, if they just bowed down, they told him, "O King, the God we serve, is able to deliver us." The troubles was in the 6th hour. They were sitting there in trouble, and they didn't know what was going to happen, but they had faith, and they believed that God would take care of them. And they didn't bow, and they didn't burn. And when they cast them in, although they cast them into the fire furnace, they didn't burn. Think about it. Who was in there with them, Brother Jerry? I believe the Lord invited there walking around with them. Comforting to them. He untied those ropes off of them, or if they either burn off or he untied them. If they come out, they come out to smell the smoke upon them. Or even up on them when they come out of there. And the old king said, "Then we not just cast 3 in, but I see 4 loose and walking around." In the 7th hour, they didn't have no trouble. God took care of them in that 7th hour. Oh, Daniel, all that he went through is everything that he went through. They ended up throwing him in the den of lions. And no doubt in your mind, if he got through in there, they just knew that he was going to be devoured. Now, Brother Jerry, he had troubles getting in there, but in that 6th hour, but in the 7th hour, God was right there with him. He didn't let them old lions hurt him today. All up through time. You look at little Ruth and all of them. But this is a thought that I had this morning. He shall deliver thee in the 6th trouble. Yea, in the 7th there be no evil touch thy life. Trouble and heartaches may come today, Brother Jerry, but if we got the Lord in our life, our sickness may come upon us, Brother Jerry, but never fear, God's right there with you. He'll take you by the hand, and He'll lead you right on through there. He'll make a way for you if you just only look up. I don't know what I'd do without Him some days, Brother Jerry. And tears will come in my eyes, but it makes me rejoice just to be able to say, "I thank you, Jesus, for being there. I thank you for making away from me at the midnight hour." You know what I'm saying? We have our troubles to this life, but when the death comes upon us, Brother Jerry, that 7th hour, He'll be right there to take us by the hand. Today when we tonight, Brother Jerry, just like you said in the next hour. But if we lay down tonight and we don't wake in the morning, the joy's going to be, we're going to wake up in a world that holds no end, where everything will be peace and happiness forevermore. Like the brothers try to preach to Patsy's family and our family. You don't tell them about Jesus. If you don't have Jesus in your life, you need Him more than anything in this world. If you don't have the Lord here today, I beg to you to still out and pray and ask Him to come into your life and let Him lead you along this way. And one day after a while, when death comes, heaven will be your home here, Brother Jerry. Heaven will be our home when we leave here in that morning, in that resurrection morning when He calls our names. We're going to be able to get up. I always think about the things in life that you do go through in life, but I thank God that one day after a while, He's going to call my name, and I'm going to be able to hear Him say, well done. Just like I told him, does your life mean something today? And I know, Brother Jerry, you can look back at all the old brothers that walked along this way that's dead and gone on now. I know they buried old Brother Elisha Branham the other day. What a good man he was. What a good report he had. Just like I told him, brother, done on the job, you need to live your life. That if you lay like that, they'd take you out to the funeral home or got you out to church. My brother Randy that did say, surely if anybody made it all the way home, he did. And how they going to do that is to live the life. And when Brother Jerry said this, and I'll surely get out of the way. When Jerry was talking about the resurrection, I love the story about when old Lazarus died and he was buried in the grave and he'd been there for 4 days. You know, they even made a comment they didn't stink of. Hey, Lord, we know that He'll arise again in the resurrection, but they didn't know there's a topping to the resurrection. Now there, Brother Jerry, but this is what I'm trying to say. Does your life mean something today? And the way I look at that little story, Lazarus had to live a life before them sisters that they knew. They soon knew something about his life, Brother Randy. They knew he walked and they knew he talked. They knew that he believed in God, and one day after a while there's going to be a resurrection, and he's going to get up in that morning. What a joy that's going to be. Yea, Lord. He'll rise again. You know, the thing about it is today, that's the life we need to live before our family and our friends and our loved ones. Yea, Lord. He'll rise again in the morning. I love the Lord. I want heaven to be my home above all things. Makes you think about different things that comes up on your life. Sickness and heartaches and trouble. I know today, one day after a while, we all want to go down by the way of the grave. But in the morning, the other day we walked up on the cemetery, and I believe like this, and brother, you correct me if I'm wrong. God said, I'll never leave you, and I'll never forsake you. I'll go with you all the way to the end of the world. And I believe this. When you have to leave this old world, can you picture that old angel coming, Brother Jerry, just packing you over into the Father Abraham's bosom today? Can you just picture that? But I believe there'll be something go down in that grave with you. To be a Marcus, and there's one of my children. One day after a while, they call her name. It's going to reunite back. We're going to get up and go over into the glory land. The greatest thing about it, He shall deliver thee in the 6th there trouble. In the 7th there shall no evil come upon you. Don't worry about dying if you got the Lord in your life. Just worry about living, Brother Jerry. If you lay down tonight and don't wake in the morning, just look up. Heaven will be home when you wake in that morning of all morning. I'll read a little story and I'm going to get out of the way. About the Lord. You know, one day after a while, talked about being able to die in your sleep, Brother Jerry. You know, now that was old timer looked at it. If a man died in his sleep, that had to be a peaceful way for the Lord just to tie on over. You didn't go through troubles and heartaches. You didn't have a lot of sickness today. Want it to be joy. You know, you want to be able, old Brother Red Alley used to preach. He said, I always preach. I like to be able to gather my children around and tell them one thing before I had to leave this old world. But you know, today, you just need to tell them about Jesus. What time we walk along this way. And one day after a while, when we have to leave this old world, because when death comes, we may not be able to get our grandchildren around us. We may not be able to get our children around us one more time, Brother Jerry. Go this way. If you got the Lord in their lives, you live the life before your children.
You'll know all about it.
You'll know all about it in there. When they come, I always thought about my old dad. He thought, Saturday evening, Brother Jerry told my stepmom, you go to the store and you get food, you get this and prepare. Said all the kids will be over tomorrow and we'll have a dinner. And you'll be ready for them when they come. I got up on Sunday morning, Patsy and the boys went over. We went to church. I went, Brother Jerry. I was looking for him to be there, but he wasn't there. I was sitting there in the church house for full over at Wilson Creek. They had to set chairs out. Next thing you know, this coming and said, want me to come outside. You need to call home. But this is the greatest part about it. Daddy went to sleep and went on over to heaven's glory land. It broke my heart that he left here, but the greatest thing of it is, Brother Jerry piled up them stones along the way. There he says, surely if anybody made it all home, he did. He piled up them stones along the way that we could follow after him and go over to be with him one day after a while. Does your life mean something? I'll tell this and I'll get out of the way. My grandpa go down there and sit and he had cancer. Through so many things. Every time they called, Daddy drive down to Hazel Green, down to everything he could for him. But this was his testimony. He got the Lord in his life. He believed God. He repented and he got the Lord in his life. And this was the testimony he had, Brother Jerry, before he had to leave this old world. He said, why did I wait so long to give my life to God? Why didn't I give him my life when I was just a young man? This was his testimony. Why didn't I give my life to him when I was just a young man? And then he could have got more going on out of my life. What time I lived here. Does your life mean something today? We need to give him the glory and honor what time we can. And one day after a while, we'll be gone. Live for them children, live for your neighbors. Hold them up. Makes no difference if they're drug addicts, alcoholics, or whatever they may be. We need to put our arms around them and tell them Jesus loves them, Brother Jerry. One day after a while, they'll turn and then turn their life over to the Lord. I'll tell this little story and I will get out of the way. Do you believe in angels? Do you believe that there's angels out walking around in this world today? I do, Brother Jerry. I would like to tell this story. If I ever stop and help somebody, I always try to tell them they need to get Jesus. If they don't have the Lord in their life, then they need to get Jesus in their life before they leave this old world, Brother Jerry. I've told this, and y'all may hear me tell it, but I tell it for the glory and honor of God. When I was just a young man, lost and undone, I was coming home with my sister's little baby in my car. And I broke down up there beside the road in the middle of nowhere. I thought, there's no man come along, no man. He wasn't young, he was an old man. He pulled up and said, what's wrong? I told him, he said, we'll get in the car, and I took him down there, and he spent all day with me, Brother Randy. Yeah. I'd actually told him a lie one time. He asked me if that was my baby, and I was afraid not to tell him it was. I didn't know. But this is the thing it was. He spent all day with me and helped me and made sure we had food to eat. Made sure everything was all right. And this is all that he told me when I got ready to leave him. He said, you owe me nothing. He said, just give Jesus in your life what time you're young. You serve God what time you're young today. And that's been a witness for me when I was lost and undone. That was a witness to me that I needed something. But he didn't say me right there, but that I always was there, Brother Jerry. Or the angels walking around. I believe it. I believe they are. People will help you along the way. A total stranger. I saw so many times, Brother Jerry. Didn't think about it then. I wish that I got his name and his phone number to been able to got back a hold of him. But he always, does your life mean something today? Always help when you can. I love you and may God bless you, but one day after a while, you see, I was like them brothers. It makes you want to rejoice. Maybe want to rejoice, Pastor, come back to church with us this evening. What a joy it is when you can walk hand in hand holding the Lord up today. One day after a while, we'll no longer be here. Oh, death will take our voice away, and we'll be laid out up on a cemetery if the Lord don't come back. But just come. Like my old daddy told her brother, just come and preach to my children. There's a heaven to gain and a hell to shun. I thank God I got one walks along with me today that we're able to go hand in hand. Everybody, Jerry, I'm so thankful that I got to do that with my dad before he left this old world. But one day after a while, my prayer is that little son of mine, that little girl Sophie, and my other grandkids, give anything if they share the church this evening and be turning their life over to the Lord. Like this, I believe God will bottle up our prayers. They'll open them up when we're dead and gone and pour them back out, and hopefully it'll touch their hearts and they'll remember, like your old daddy piled them stones up along the way, my dad and all our fathers and mothers and them that piled up them stones. They'll remember the path that we walked. So your life does mean something today.
Amen.